All right, let's talk about Chris Rock and Will Smith. I was going to play the video. Everybody's seen it. And last time we played award show footage, our stream got turned off. So everybody knows what happened. Chris Rock made a joke at the Oscars. He said, to Jada Pinkett Smith, he said, I'm looking forward to G.I. Jane 2 in reference to her shaved head. I don't think he was aware, maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, that she has alopecia, which is a medical condition that causes hair loss. Will Smith walked onto the stage, smacked him in the face. The room went silent. Will Smith screamed at him, "Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth." And It was a very awkward moment. And it just happened to be the case that Will Smith was about to win an Oscar a few minutes later. And he did. And he went on this very long, convoluted half apology. And then the Academy, condemned his actions. We'll spend about 5 minutes on this.
Which apparently now they're investigating.
Yeah, they're investigating. Look, I have a feeling Chris Rock did not know she has a medical condition. If he did, I don't think he'd have made that joke. Doesn't strike me as like a malicious person who would do that. Either way, it's a joke in very poor taste. I think the classy thing to do if you're Will Smith and your brand is class would maybe, if you really wanted to be a hero, right? If you really wanted to make the audience moist, you could have gone up there, pulled him aside, whispered in his ear, "Hey, I don't know if you knew this, but my wife has a medical problem that causes hair loss. That joke came off kind of fucked up. Maybe you want to say you're sorry." And then I'm sure Chris Rock would have gone up to the microphone and said, "Oh, I really didn't realize that. I'm very sorry." And Will Smith would have came off looking like the best husband on earth. Instead, he looked like a fucking, he looked like an asshole. He looked like an asshole. He has a reputation as being a self-important, quite frankly, money-grubbing asshole. This whole thing, I won't do the Independence Day sequel for less than $50 million. Real man of the people, Will Smith, And that's how it came off. So that's my verdict. I have to say, if I'm a pacifist on Russia, Ukraine, I have to be a pacifist on this too. Violence is never the answer, whether you're Vladimir Putin or Will Smith. It was a very Putin-like move, It was a very Putin-like move with Will Smith. I think Chris Rock is like Zelensky in this situation.
I thought the joke was inappropriate, particularly if he did know. You don't make fun of somebody's medical condition. If he didn't know, he hasn't said that.
He hasn't said he didn't know.
I'd be surprised if he didn't. According to something I saw recently, it wasn't on the script and the rehearsal. Could have been one of those things.
Could have been one of those things.
He just threw out a little improv.
Right, because she was in the front row, so he just saw her there.
He fucked up.
Yeah. That could have been
it. That makes sense.
That's the most likely
because
thing.
Otherwise, why wouldn't he have by now been like, "Oh, I didn't know that was the deal."
Right. If he planned on making the joke, knowing she had alopecia, that would have been pretty fucked up. But also, that doesn't sound like the kind of joke that Chris Rock would write in advance, because Chris Rock is very funny, and that joke, whether he knew it or not, is not a funny joke. It
wasn't a good joke anyway.
Like the joke about Javier Bardem was funny. Javier Bardem and his wife were both nominated, and so because his wife was figured to lose, Javier Bardem had to hope he lost also, because if you win and your wife loses, you have a problem. Like, that's funny. That works.
That's very Chris Rock.
Exactly.
Will Smith, what a dick. What a dick. Like, that was such an entitled, narcissistic gesture. This is the fucking Oscars. And look, I haven't watched the Oscars in literally decades. So it's not that I respect the institution, but come on, man, hundreds of millions of people are watching this who are invested in it. This isn't about you and your shit and your feelings. He's a fucking comedian. He made a bad joke. If every husband whose wife had a bad joke made about them went berserk, it would be Independence Day. So that was it just showed a mindset. It showed a mentality of entitlement, I thought. Yeah, sure. I'm going to go disrupt this thing that hundreds of millions of people are watching because
and just ruin the whole
I'm
night.
personally insulted by a dumb throwaway joke.
Right. And like steal the headlines from the winning movies. And look, the purpose that the Oscars does kind of serve, whether you like the Oscars or not, is it does tend to elevate certain like smaller films that don't gross $300 million at the box office. You know, like a movie like Parasite would not have been the phenomenon that it was. It was a great movie that deserved a big audience, and it got a big audience because it won the Oscar. So, like, it's a big deal for a small movie to win an Oscar. And, you know, Coda, like we mentioned at the beginning, it's not a masterpiece, but it's a nice movie. It's a good movie. It's a worthwhile movie, you know, and it's a feel-good story about a very underrepresented group of people who never are featured in movies. And so it was a nice thing for them to win.
Not since Marlee Matlin.
Well, Marlee Matlin was in the movie. And she's been around forever.
I swear to God, I was going to ask because I was like, if they made a movie about all deaf people, she was in it.
Oh, she was in it. Oh, so you didn't even know she was in it. It had a great performance from the lead actress, a really good performance from the
she may be the
supporting
only
actor who won the Oscar
ever to break out into the A-list in history.
Yeah,
and for a minute there, she was like a hot commodity.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She was the beautiful lineswoman on Seinfeld, one of my favorite episodes.
Right.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes. That was the scene that got me hooked on the show. Is when they're at dinner with her, and Jerry and George are scheming to get her to spy on them because she's a lip reader, and they're trying to talk behind her back, so they're like obscuring their hands so she can't read their lips to see what they're talking about, and she does anyway. That was good. But like it's a nice movie. Like it was a nice thing. Like it would have been a really good. I mean, it was still a good night for them, but it would have been an even better night for them if they got the main headline that they took home Best Picture. This little movie came out of nowhere about deaf people, and it won. And instead, this fucking asshole, like I said, worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Feed,
nothing.
Not one headline about what movie won.
Right.
Every headline was about the slap.
Yeah. This fucking asshole just goes and just ruins it. Uncalled for. Will Smith and Vladimir Putin, both violent aggressors.
Well, and also, I was talking to someone.
You know, you just like Putin. That's something Putin would do.
Yeah.
We'll speak the shitlib language here.
I was talking to somebody in media today who was pointing out, actually, that Brad Pitt's Plan B production company has done a hell of a lot more for the community than Will Smith's production company ever has. And Will Smith, apparently he likes to do the Cosby thing. He likes to go around lecturing other Black performers, other Black artists about appropriate behavior and appropriate language. And it's
bullshit. Well, he didn't do.
And what has he produced? He produced like 2 vehicles for his son. Well, Brad Pitt did seriously. Brad Pitt did 12 Years a Slave. Is Brad Pitt's production company?
Right.
And what has Will Smith done? Nothing.
No. Well, no, he doesn't do. But like his brand is basically just like clean. Like that's why he never cursed in any of his rap albums and things like that. You know, he avoids controversial films. Like he basically avoids good work. Like he never really makes any good movies. He was offered the part of Django in Django Unchained. He turned it down because it was too violent. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't want to do good work. He wants to be a mass marketable brand. And he demands $50 million to be in Independence Day 2. Anybody who demands $50 million to make a movie is a fucking asshole. Period. That's it. Yeah,
what's it? Did he wind up doing it?
No, they weren't going to pay him $50 million. And so they actually killed his character off in the sequel. They like established that his character died after beating the aliens the first time. They should have just wrote into the script that he would have come back to fight the aliens again, but he wanted too much money. They couldn't pay him. He wanted $50 million to come back and save the planet again. He already did it once. He's not doing it.
I mean, honestly, having seen Independence Day, I don't think you could pay me enough to come back and do a second one.
I mean, the first one I thought was an enjoyable blockbuster. The second one was absolute garbage. Absolutely awful.
I didn't see it.
I mean, maybe the first one was awful too. Maybe I just liked it because I was 9 years old when I saw it. And I didn't know the difference.
I saw it as an adult, and it was awful. You know what I remember? That I know it came out in '96 because Bob Dole felt compelled to comment on it as a presidential candidate. And what he said was so stupid. Like, it made the news. He was like, yeah, I liked it. The good guys win, the bad guys lose.
That was when he was running for president too, right? Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I know it must have been 96 because I remember that made news that was popped on.
Right, that he liked the movie.